Hey Bhavai, how are you doing? It's been long.
Hi Karthik, I'm good. Now we are back with another banging episode of ours in data and AI. Now I just want to introduce you as a heavyweight champion of AI engineering. And again, you have a great channel on YouTube called Think in Models, where you post all the new interview style of AI engineering. And recently you posted about forward engineering. And yeah, so very nice to meet you. I know that you have done your BTech from IIT Kharagpur. So if you just introduce yourself and tell more about your whole journey from IIT Kharagpur as an architecture engineering, from there to being a senior AI engineer at Insight Global.
Yeah, firstly, thanks for having me. And also, my bachelor's was in architecture. It's BArch in IIT Kharagpur. Then I did master's in econometrics. It's more of a statistics-based economics degree. Then I did my master's in artificial intelligence, which was an executive degree, which I did as part of when I was actually working in a company. So my career, right, it started around during COVID. So I have put my story in the channel as well. So there was a lot of UPSC and other things back and forth. After that, I have decided that I would be really good fit for basically software engineering as a field. Then my first company was it's called Bizacuity. So I worked there for 3.5 years. So there I have worked on multiple projects. Basically, it's a service-based company, right? So I worked on big data projects. I also worked in ML projects and also AI projects. So or generative AI as you call it. So it's been a very mixed bag. But to be honest, I think that whatever I was doing in Bizacuity, that was what gave me broad knowledge at the end of the day. So which I think is really helping me now, because you are exposed to a lot of fields. Suddenly nothing looks new to you, right? At the end of the day, whatever application you build, you know how front end looks like, how testing happens, how ML gets integrated, how generative AI models get integrated, whatever it is. So that was really good foundation for me, and I did learn quite a lot. Then I was actually working as a technology lead for digital and AI solutions in a company called IQEQ. So this is a actually European company. So they are very focused on building backend services, basically, for fund management companies and all those things. And I was one of the first members hired for this particular team. This team was very nascent at that stage. So being with that much experience, right? I was not like technology lead before joining here. So entire experience was very new for me. I was leading a lot of projects, and also there are a lot of people below me. So it was entirely, complete 360 degree shift for me from previous organization. But here I actually got exposed to real world scenarios, right? And how actually CTOs think. I used to have call with even CTO in some of the calls as well. So then I got idea. Okay, this is how things work out. I know what works at the developer level, right, which is the base level. Now I know what works at executive level or director level as well. So yeah, I was there for 1 year. Then obviously now I'm working as a senior AI engineer in Inside Global. So here I have been working since January, and here again the same. So we are part of a very fast-paced team, which is AI team. It's called IG Lab. So we do a lot of POCs and we build a lot of products. So there is a quick, how would I put it, iteration cycle, right? So at the end of the day, this introduction looks slightly longer, but the weird mix that I went through right before I was preparing for something else. But the companies I have joined have given me some unique opportunities which generally are not given for people at my experience at that level, right? So with that, I was able to rapidly upskill and generative AI because I love doing creating AI based applications and learning about AI and teaching about AI. So yeah, here I am in YouTube and all those things. Yeah, I'm actually living what I think is really efficient life from my perspective. This is what I love doing it. So yeah.
Great. Actually, I just want to know, like, if somebody was in your place right now doing a bachelor's in architecture or in some other field not related to AI, would you suggest the same path as going to do the master's in econometrics or do some master's in AI, or would you just say them like just jump right into the interviews of AI engineering and learn from there and crack one of the interviews in a company?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really, really good question. Basically, you can actually, you know, attend interviews directly, even if you do bachelor's in architecture, but sometimes they might have conditions, right? A lot of JDs do mention, right, you need to have BTech or some kind of science degree or technology degree at the end of the day. Instead of BArch is more tending towards arts degrees. It's a combination of arts and engineering. So there might be some restrictions. So what you can do is the reason I adopted this path is firstly, I cannot directly go from BArch to AI, right? It cannot be that immediate because at that time AI was not that huge. Obviously, ML was there, and the generative AI was just starting at that point of time. So, firstly, I thought let's make something slightly more mathematical degree, which is a combination of arts plus mathematics. So, economics is one of very famous for this kind of combination, right? So, I did it. Then, obviously, once I joined as software engineer, I know at that point of time that AI is going to be huge. I think it's around. I realized this around 2021. Even then, AI was huge, but no one imagined that it's gonna disrupt this many fields, right? So then I decided I need to do masters because I need to get first, obviously, upskilled, and secondly, I at least need to get some credential in AI, right? So that I can apply for companies as well as I can maybe contribute more to research as well. Because my thesis was in GANs. I mean, if you remember, GANs used to be that cool things at that particular point of time. So I did those. So yeah, that's how it started. So I would suggest this is not a foolproof way. It's much longer way. People can directly do masters after BArch also. Like a lot of executive degrees, there are options where you can directly do MS in AML. Okay, that is one thing you could do. And obviously, in some cases, you can directly get or apply jobs after BArch itself. If you think you have done certain projects and you are really knowledgeable on AI, that's much easier path.
Great. I think it is lovely advice because anyone starting their career right now, they are just mostly just fixated on what things to do next, and they are not just trying things. They are just stuck in the loop of like learning from the videos and then again videos, and they are not implementing themselves. So they just need
Yeah.
to get some sense of applied AI on how corporate works and what they actually need, whether it is a RAG architecture or an agentic AI. So these two are hot topics right now. Just get on one of those topics, get the mastery, clear one of those interviews, and then just on the go, like learn on the go from this job, and then you can just go from higher and higher from there. But firstly,
Exactly.
you just need a one job to start with.
Yeah.
Now I know like you have done a lot of research work on computer vision and GAN, as you mentioned. So after that, how did you make a switch of like AI engineering, and what did you actually learn about like Open AI or Claude and RAG architectures? So these are all the very jargons which are used in AI field. And someone who is new to this AI field, how would you like explain, or how would you make them feel excited about this AI and what they can actually benefit, like a very layman term?
So, obviously, when I was doing my master's thesis, right, I did that particular thesis because I really was so shocked with the architecture that GANs have. There is a generator, there is a discriminator, which are fighting with each other in simple words. And, the error function itself is so interesting at the end of the day. So I firstly, that was my attraction towards it because I have always been this person who is attracted to new things or shiny new things happening in technology. So I generally gravitated towards that. But from the professional perspective, right? So I was doing a lot of projects. Firstly, as I mentioned, I was working in multiple fields because it was a service company at that particular point of time. So we had a ML project, which is basically, casino or gambling or gaming related project. And we do also, at the end of the day, had some generative AI projects which are getting initiated in our company. So once I have worked on, actually, it's basically a resume parser to start with, and then recruitment assistant, all those things that were the core projects which we were developing at that particular point of time. Then I understood, okay, this has a lot of capability, obviously, because open AI or cloud based models, right? Even at that point, the initial phases, for that time they were very good. I mean, obviously, if you compare those models now, You'd think, oh my God, we have we have come long way. But at that point of them, they do have capabilities which no other thing has in AI, right? So I have found, okay, this is very interesting. As I mentioned, I was always attracted to these new things. So I started exploring those and I started learning those. I attended AWS conferences, this conference, that conference, online classes, everything possible. So I used to buy one Udemy course every 4 days. So yeah, I was doing quite a lot of studying that particular point of time. Then I found, it's a field which changed quite a lot, or which changes quite a lot, right? It's not something static where you are learning SQL and working on SQL for 20 years. Obviously, nothing bad on SQL, but the pace of change itself is what attracted me. So that's why I started working on it. As you know, the rest is history, right? So things RAG and all these things have come up on multi-agent systems, real-time agentic systems, and all those things. So every moment of time, I felt not, I don't know everything. Even now, right? Today, before we started this call and after we end this call, there might have been something big that happened in AI for sure, right? So yeah, no, that's what my inspiration again was, to more focus on AI engineering, because AI engineering as a field, right? People do get confused quite a lot. AI, ML, all these things are kind of weird synonyms. Okay, nobody has come up with best definitions that you need to follow it. I have seen certain roles. I do have calls in top mate, right? So I do see certain roles which talk about ML, but actually the work they describe is of an agentic AI engineer. So first thing is, just get out of these definitions first. Okay. Don't have this definition that AI engineer always does it. What you can, simple definition from my side would be, AI engineer is someone who builds AI applications. That's it. Have that simple definition and learn as much as possible to build AI applications. Okay. Yeah. So that would be what I think, why I gravitated towards AI engineering and what we actually do. We do quite a lot of things. You can get specialized and you can just say, I'm in engineering but specialized in auditory systems or audio systems, right? So that is one option. You can go specialization, but I'm not someone who wants to specialize at this point of time, because I have a lot of things I can learn. Obviously I am getting specialized based on the projects I'm working on, but I still want to stay at this broad level. Then I plan to go into much more specialized level.
Yeah, that is actually again very good advice for someone who is starting, and do not make a mistake on just going on the process. Like just learn like the things and start working on the projects and learn from there and build your resume from there, and just do not just stop analyzing things from that lens. You just cannot be stuck on one thing and assume that you will just grow from there. You need to create some chances, create like what things are changing, right? Like 1 year back it was RAG architecture and fine tuning. Right now it is all about agentic AI. And like, what do you learn about agentic AI, how you make applications which are agentic AI. So I just wanted to pick your brains on that. Like, agentic AI is the new hot term right now. So
Yeah.
how do you keep evolving or keep learning about this agentic AI without feeling like lagging behind in this field, because this field keeps on changing day by day. So are there any common research papers or any email newsletters that you follow, or any like new media market article that you are following?
Yeah, I mean, really good question. Thanks for that. Firstly, my daily ritual is this. Okay, I have built my own workflow in Cloud. Okay, which runs every day, gets whatever the latest research papers in archive. I mean, if you know archive, so and summarizes for me what is happening and what are the changes that happened in last 24 hours, right? So that is first thing I see on top level and just see what is happening at top level. If I do find something interesting, I actually get that paper and read it. But obviously, like with full-time jobs, we don't get enough time. But fortunately, I would say my company is a very liberal company. For any work they give, right? They give us ample opportunity to research as well. So what if I'm doing, for example, a critical agentic system today, I can research about it and learn about it as well. So that's why I say companies which support your growth from knowledge perspective are very, very good, important companies. Okay, some companies would be very big MNCs, but at the end of the day, every day you are just cramming the work, right? So that is not what my company does. And I genuinely feel they have really helped me on this, because they give you enough time to research. So that is first thing. So that is what I do in the mornings, basically to get latest research. And secondly, I do, follow Andrew Karpathy and whatever they are doing. And also, for example, I do follow a few people in LinkedIn who I feel like they post really well about AI related topics, right? So that is second source. Mostly I am in LinkedIn for, daily parts of my day. I don't follow Instagram and these things much. Okay, especially currently, because obviously, already few basics, so you don't want to again get bombarded by the same basics every day. So you want to see what is the latest, right? So that's why these are my sources. And thirdly, I do use cloud quite a lot. I mean, obviously, it's Codex as well to just see if something today, right? I feel like yesterday I have heard about something, but I have never worked on it or haven't seen it. So I just ask Opus to just do some web search and get me some pointers on top of it, and just I see it as a genuine interest, like what is actually happening. So these are my things. So it's mostly I start with my day with AI and kind of end my day with AI because my job is also on the same thing, right? Yeah,
Great. So I have done the same thing. I use Claude a lot, and I have also made a workflow for myself, which actually just combines all the LinkedIn posts and all the internet things which are posted about AI, and just combines into just one small tiny paragraph. I just need to get on
exactly.
the thing, like what is there new. And second, I also follow a newsletter called Alpha Signal. Have you ever heard about it? Like it is very common among like AI
Hmm.
engineers, and they quite follow
Yeah,
it.
I have heard about it, but I never looked about it actually. As you said, right, this is my standard workflow. So if you need to add something new into my workflow, then I need to, think about it and then add it. So I don't have that much time, especially during office days. So I just go to office. Yeah, but I think that would be a good addition. I would love to explore that as well.
Yeah. And one more thing, like that's like one of the most asked questions on my channel is that people tend to get on the courses which are about AI engineering or like certificate courses from Krishnayak or some other academy. So do you prefer like to buy those courses or just learn from the practicality and learn from the Claude itself, like how it is working and decode it from there? Rather than
Mhm.
just like learning from there, you just reverse engineer like what is the product and how would you actually create it.
So that's a good question again. So what I would do, right? There are different phases of your journeys. So for example, if you're just starting out or you are might be in college, right? You don't even have basics, then it's better to actually take these courses because these courses give you some structure because now you are empty plate. At the end of the day, they will put you something in you so that you can explore further, right? So at initial stages of your career, don't use AI as much as your later stages of your career or later stages of your knowledge journey, right? Because once you learn basics, once you get some input, obviously there is this teacher and student interaction, right? So learn from a structured course. Either it could be YouTube, free courses, or even Udemy. I mean, Udemy courses cost how much? It's just 399 or 499 sometimes, right? So take a structured course and diligently follow it. That would be my first suggestion. Maybe start with Udemy and free courses, right? You don't want to spend 30, 60, 1 lakh on at least in the initial level. So once you see these courses, if you do genuinely feel like there is certain gap which you are observing, then go with these costly courses. But costly courses, some courses are just costly because they want it to be costly. There is no reason for this to be costly, right? So don't go for these courses. I don't want to take single names because haven't attended all these courses. So one or at least some important points I would observe before taking a course is firstly, see what is the curriculum. Does it serve your purpose? For example, if you want to get into AI engineering, right? Does it talk about AI engineering? Is it talking about production systems? Is it talking about basics? Is it giving you more practical exposure? So see the curriculum and then understand it. If you think that curriculum you don't even understand, just get the curriculum copy and give it to ChatGPT or anything, right? And ask it like, does it cover all the important things and do the latest research? So once that is done, if you feel like entire curriculum and the amount of time, maybe they are taking for 6 months and there might be placement opportunities, right? After getting this course done. So see all the peripherals of this entire course as well. And obviously, last but not least, see who is teaching these courses. Biggest problem I notice in YouTube everywhere is this, right? Which is people who have not done AI engineering or whatever, right? At the end of the day, They haven't deployed one production application till now. They teach you courses on production deployments. Yes, I mean, sometimes they might know that knowledge, right? Theoretical, but nothing replaces practical knowledge because in real companies, right, there will be very, very stressful situations and you're dealing with real dollars. It's not like, random dollars or, fake money you're dealing with. So you have all these things you need to take care of. So that will at least give you some direction on production systems work. So for conceptual things, anyone is fine. Concepts can be explained much, much better than even experienced engineer, right? Some people can explain concepts much better, but especially if you want to know how the production deployments happen or this kind of security critical systems, how they are designed, I would suggest to first see whoever is your instructor and find out about him. What did he do previously? Did he actually work as an AI engineer, or at least did he work as a software engineer for 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is, right? Or 5 years. So first see what his history is, then purchase these courses. Okay, because even I did these mistakes at the start of my career. I purchased certain courses for a lot of money, but at the end of the day, that the person who is teaching me is not someone who has experienced this entire process, right? So that is first thing. That is about choosing the courses and who your instructor is. Next, once you chose course, just stick with it. You have spent around some money, obviously. It could be in thousands or lakhs. So stick with it and learn as much as you can and don't give up in middle. I have seen statistics even in Coursera and other places, right? It seems only 10% or something people complete the course, and other people they just start the first video or even they stop at the middle of the course itself, right? So don't do that. And thirdly, don't fall for, I mean, this is a common sentence I tell in a lot of my videos, which is cheap courses which tell you're going to get certified and then tomorrow you're going to be the AI engineer or prompt engineer, whatever it is, right? So, do you think if you are able to learn in one day or whatever one session, then all the people can also do same because you are not that special person, right? So then you are getting bombarded by all these people with the same applications, then you are competing with themselves. So that is false. You cannot learn anything in one day. Okay. Because even your brain requires 21 days to actually get few basics and get that repetitive, right? So take longer courses, but follow the structure meticulously and then complete the courses. Once in the course, just don't think after 3 months, oh my God, I imagined this course to be something else. So I stop it. Why to do that? You can get more knowledge. It's not like once you stop it, you are getting something, right? At least continue and learn few other things, whatever you need or whatever you think are important, and take that course. So this would be what my suggestion is. Don't think about anything else. Don't think X, don't think Y, this guy is teaching, that guy is teaching. Think, see what his history is. Who is this guy? And also how you are spending money, whether that delivers that money or not. That's it.
Yeah, great. I think this is what I call it as a Ponzi scheme because people just fell for this trap. They just want to make a quick buck or a quick money. And they are just seeing like in one day, or if I spend about 99 rupees, if I say it specifically, then I will
Yeah.
become an AI engineer in one day. But that's not going to happen because you need some kind of basics in statistics, in mathematics. And then from there, you just need to learn about machine learning. What is machine learning, what is actually natural language processing. And then our bible is like attention is all you need. From there you will get to know about AI engineering and how it actually exploded after transformers, BERT model, and encoders and
Mhm.
decoders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to ask you, like, I have seen your channel and I have been through like all of those videos. So you have taken more about, I think, 300 interviews, if I guess it right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was in my career, not in my channel, but yes.
In your career you have taken 300 plus interviews, right? And you have taken my interview as well. And one of those critics that I have followed by you is like, I don't have that much of business knowledge. So if you have to sum it up to all your interview knowledge and you just have to give it for our users, so what are like top 5 things that you think people are not able to like answer it properly, or they are struggling with while you take interviews for specifically for AI engineering or data science, or like their business knowledge or their communication skills as well.
Yeah. So again, I mean, Bhava, you are coming up with very good questions. Firstly, I would appreciate you on that because these are actually useful questions. For the problem with interviews, right? Once you take this many interviews, as I mentioned, I already went to campus placements. I did go to IIT Kharagpur for multiple years. So to get the placements as well. So one common, regardless of what interview it is, right? There are common mistakes that people do. Firstly, they assume that interviewer is always more knowledgeable than them. Okay. But they need to know this interviewer has been working in a company. They have been assigned certain project, or they are working, especially if it's a very big MNC, right? So they might not even work on the entire project. They have certain field that they are working on. So firstly, get this worry out of your mind, because your entire worries, most of the problems are coming from thinking that interviewer is a god, he knows everything. How should I tell it? I mean, can this answer be framed this way? So first, get that worry out. This is one first mistake that people do. Firstly, get that worry of thinking that interviewer is much knowledgeable than you. He can be much knowledgeable than you in certain aspects, but there are aspects where he loves to be pushed, saying that, I mean, whatever you said, like, can you explain it? Or maybe I think this is much better approach, can we have a discussion on top of it? If he is a good interviewer, he will for sure give you much more better marks or whatever rating, right? That is first thing. Second thing is, don't drive the interview into directions where you are uncomfortable with. So what do you I mean by it? Which is, if you say something, if I ask you, what are guardrails, right? So if you know guardrails, answer it. But if you don't know guardrails, but you are answering it and saying guardrails would be, having this kind of input and output guardrails where I'm trying to make sure my core system is not getting affected by attacks, right? And also my output is not causing harm to users. If this is the answer, interviewer will capture few things. You said input and output guardrails. They might ask you what are the input guardrails, how it's different from output guardrails. Then you will answer something. If you know it, it's fine. But the more keywords you throw, the tougher interview gets and the deeper interview goes. So one easier way, if you don't know guardrails in depth, right, you can just say, this is what I know. This is like non-technical definition, but I'm not like 100% sure on this. Then interviewers will not be again probing you into internals of it. They'll be moving to some other question. That's why don't dig your own ditch or whatever, right? So first, don't do that. That is second most, yeah, biggest mistake people do. Thirdly, they prepare only before interview. So for example, they interview gets scheduled by HR, then they immediately start preparing concepts, they immediately start preparing their resume, they start going through their code. I mean, why would you do that? Like, if you're actually trying for a few companies, right? Every day, just give 20 minutes or 30 minutes and just see some concepts in your resume or words mentioned in your resume and just learn about them, right? That would be the easier approach. So this is something. Don't prepare just, I mean, people will give you this advice, right? Don't prepare before exams thing. So same goes with the interviews as well. Fourthly, I mean, the fourth one is communication skills. So there are two things. Obviously, there are few people, we are privileged enough to get educated in English. I mean, at least in the previous years, right? And we got all the things that we require from our parents, but not everyone is privileged. There might be people who are present in government schools, and in obviously some government schools now have started English, but there were a lot of government schools previously. It was all regional languages only, right? So they were having these issues from base. It's not their problem at the end of the day. So don't think that, because you don't know English, you will be performing bad in the interview. Firstly, you can ask the interviewer if they can allow you a regional language. That is not a wrong question. Okay. Just say, can we do this interview in Hindi? Or can we do this interview in Telugu? Whatever it is, right? If you're applying obviously in company and that person is a Telugu guy. So you can ask them, they will say, no, 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 we're gonna have English. Then you will go to English. There is nothing wrong in it. And secondly, practice communication skills. Nowadays, previously, I mean, I feel old saying this, but previously we don't have this, all these things, right? AI helping us and everything. So you need to have some person training you. But now you can just sit before ChatGPT and ask it questions and take a mock interview before it, right? And you can directly talk to it and ask it to judge or at least tell you how your communication skills are, what you need to improve. If you do this every day for 30, even for 30 minutes, right? I'm pretty sure within 3 or 4 months, you will notice some difference, right? At the end of the day. So yeah, this is fourth thing. Don't worry about communication skills, but try to build it and be as free as with, with the interviewer and ask him for the option to talk in your language as well, if you're more comfortable in it. That is fourth one. Fifth one is faking will not work if the interviewer is good. Okay. So don't fake things. Even if you're faking, you should be that really good guy who can answer everything on whatever the part you have faked upon. So best option is don't fake it. Okay. I know there would be situations where you might need to fake certain things. You might need to put projects which you haven't worked on, but you somehow need to fill the resumes to match the JD, right? This is something people do, especially when they are not experienced, because once we are experienced, you get the 100 projects. You can put whatever you want. You worked as a engineer, all the projects you have worked on, you can put it. But freshers, right? They might have these issues. So first thing, don't fake it. That is my first option. But if you do fake it, then learn everything about it. Okay, these are the two things. And don't try to just think that interviewer will not observe. I mean, I can easily observe. That was my experience. If you're faking it, I would be able to know because I know questions which fakers can't answer. Like some questions would be, how did you do your deployment? Like, what was the package you have used? What was the time it took? Like all this thing, kind of random things, right? Which only people who have deployed knows. So then you are going to get flustered. So don't do this. I think these five are the most important things. I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best answer that I have heard from you. And because like there are things which people take very lightly when they are interviewing. They think like interviewer might not notice and we will be able to get away with it. But it is not not with every case. Like there might be some interviewers which will let it go and say like, okay, uh, that's probably for a junior level role, and you might get higher. But most of the good companies, if you are applying for, they will ask you very hard questions, and these are not theoretical questions by any chance. These are very practical, in-depth questions. So you need to be master of those technical questions or those projects that you are actually have shown in your resume. So, for example, there are some scenarios where I have also faked something like my projects or like my experience in that company, but I actually back it up with like my knowledge, and I prepare that whole code using the Claude, and I deploy it on the VS Code and see like how it the internal workings are and how it actually works. So that actually helps me get the gist of what is the project and how it is working, what are different libraries I'm working with, and what are the dependencies. So it would actually make a lot of sense. So if you guys are actually faking it, I would highly recommend that you go on Codex, Claude, or whatever AI model you are using. Create a VS Code file, not a very like a production base. It could be a very basic file. It could be just a file in Flask or a Django, and just run it and see like what are the internal workings of it, and how will you run and how will you learn from it. uh, so I just want to share some of my personal learnings of giving AI engineering interviews, and you tell me like what are the different things people should learn from these interviews, and how should they prepare in the structured format. Like, so while I was giving interviews for AI engineering companies, and most of those companies would actually, it is mandatory, like every company would ask one DSA question, and it is fixed. So they will ask one array list or a very basic question of linked list, and then it is mandatory that deep they will dive deep into your resume and ask very nitty gritties of those projects, of those technologies, of those libraries you have worked with. And they will ask you questions like about deployment, about like how will you run this, like, and what are the different technologies you have not used it for. For example, if you are using an OpenCV, they will ask you why you have not used YOLO. If you are saying that I have used chunking technology, so they will ask like why you haven't used the other chunking technology. So these are the questions you need to be prepared for. And then they will also deep dive into like ML technologies, your NLP skill, and your core statistics. So how do you help people like in prepare this engineering interview if you are in their place right now and you have just graduated from like architecture degree, and you are going into this field and you're preparing for the interview. So how will you just help those people?
Awesome. Yep.
So what are different like topics or those different how you would say like different subjects that you would actually put it in a bracket uh, that would actually be required for this AI engineering interview?
Okay. I mean, to go with specifics, right? As I mentioned, AI engineering as a field is very broad. So, regardless what you are preparing, it's always important to first look at JD and see what concepts are being covered. So that is the final thing. At the end of the day, JD is your question paper. Okay. But what would be the concepts or subjects I would actually study is I will always start with ML basics, regardless of what role I'm applying for. Because the reason is ML has certain concepts, right? I mean, I don't want to use these words like ML and AI because I don't think they are too much of difference. But traditionally, they have been different due to the way they have developed, right? So always get to know ML basics, how the base models actually work, like how does regression, logistic regression or linear regression, right? Or for example, boosting, bagging. So these things, right? They are not some weird concepts. These are very important algorithms. At the end of the day, who is going to give you a predictable answer at the end of the day with very less resources. Okay. So regardless of how good AI becomes or generative AI models become, there would be situations where we might need to use these ML models or base ML models. So that is something I would cover always, regardless of what role I'm preparing for, specifically for AI engineering. Secondly, once I grasp what are different kind of error functions, right, and all these ML models, I know how training and testing work, what is overfitting, underfitting, all those basic terms. Then I'll start to learn about RNNs, like to not like in depth, like what is the exact gate state present and all those things, just because they lead to transformers. Like RNNs have few issues, transformers fix those issues. Okay. So obviously, then the natural path is I will learn about transformers. And here is something I would actually read the original research paper. People might not agree with me on this, but this is very, very important because that original research paper, right? It talks about things which you don't get in YouTube videos and random courses, right? So you will understand what was causing the issues. Why did they take this particular approach? So once that is done, I will learn obviously basics of transformers. And to be honest, vision models, right? CNNs, diffusers, and all those things, you don't need to go through them unless you're applying for anything specific to vision, or if the role is itself is a computer vision engineer, right? Because they are not adding anything conceptual, they're just how would I put it, extending the base concepts. So unless it is required, you don't need to go to them because even interviewers will not ask them if you're not applying for these kind of roles. Then I will be learning about the models themselves, what kind of options we have, what are open source models, what are closed source models, what are different providers we have, all these concepts, right? Which is the model related concepts. Once that is done, then I will move to the system design, which includes both high level design and low level design, right? Because this is not common, like not entirely all the software engineering concepts can be put in AI engineering system or AI system designs as well. So there is used to be system design previously as well, before the AI actually, nor AI application design comes. So this system design is base. You need to know this. You cannot completely skip this, but AI application system design adds on top of it. Now you have evaluation module, which is actually evaluating models outputs and system outputs, right? And there is observability layer, which used to be there before, but this has become much more different in AI application design. So you need to learn about it. So that is obviously, for example, if there are a million users, because LLMs are not the small, immediately replying things, right? They have their own latency. You need to know how this latency of LLMs can impact your system design at the end of the day. So whatever complexities LLM or generative AI as well as base ML models bring, those will determine your system design as well, both high level design and low level design. So this is something I will learn at the end. But this is the most important thing you need to know. Okay. If you don't know this, you are not going to crack a lot of good interviews. Obviously, some interviews they might ask just Python questions and standard theoretical questions, right? So those are fine. But if you're actually applying for very good companies, system design is mandatory. Once this is done, for senior roles, the more important things are actually explaining your experience. For that, what you need to do is you need to actually think about production requirements, right? Which is not only for your own use, but for the organization. only like whether it's working on production, it's more about compliance, whether your system is compliance in compliance with whatever standards your organization as well as regulators have put, and what are regulatory requirements, how you are going to make sure that GDPR is being utilized or at least as an integral part of your system. So all these things, which is government stuff, regulatory stuff, and your organizational stuff, these also come in once you are experienced AI engineer, right? Your interviews will also have this stuff. So this is the order I will learn, regardless of what who you are.
Great. I think that's a lovely answer. Uh, Now we come to this, like after this AI engineering, we come to this human part where I ask every of my guests that what are your top five like book recommendations or movies or series recommendations? Because we are just not covering this AI engineering, we are getting this human touch in the people, and just want to see like how people think and like what makes us different is our choices, right? What kind of movies, web series, or shows that you like?
I mean, like perspective, I have stopped seeing web series because obviously, I don't get enough time as before, but I used to watch them quite a lot. I do love to read books. Okay. For me, movies, I do watch them, but for me, movies are more into entertainment space. And I mean, this is something I want to share, which is I'm very much in love with horror movies. I don't know why. So I watch quite a lot of horror movies. So it's not nothing technical or knowledge related things for me from movies, but I do love to read books. There is a book, if I'm quoting it exactly, it's called AA 2041 or something. Okay, that book is something I really love. Okay, that is one book which describes this entire AI revolution, right? How this gets evolved, what are the probable ways it can take. So that is one thing I would suggest to everyone. And my mind always comes back to this Chip Huyen book. I don't know. I know it's a technical book, but it's written so beautifully. So even we have given a giveaway recently, right? That was the book we are giving because it is subtle. Like it's not like too theoretical or it's not like some random practical things, right? It's structured in that center. So that is something I would prefer. And also coming to technical things, right? There are books, to be honest, you question is more towards not only the technical, the other aspects, right? But if the technical things, if people want to learn in traditional way, I would always suggest people to start with a book called Designing Data Intensive Applications. Okay, this is a very good book. And I have read this book already 4 times. Okay, this is very important. This is not AI book, by the way. It's data related book and data intensive application design. So this is first thing I will read. Then I will move to LLM engineering by Chip Huyen. Then I will move to LLMs in production. This is also another book by O'Reilly. So this is the same order I'll follow. Instead of watching anything or entertainment, for me, these books are much more entertaining, to be honest.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Like I am also in love with Chip Huyen books, and but like for me, like the thing that mostly attracted to me, like technology and the AI stuff, are the movies and the sci-fi movies that that have released recently. And one of them was Black Mirror. So I was kind of attracted to like what are the possibilities of humanity is changing by just one piece of technology, which is AI, and how
Yeah,
badly or in how good manner it can impact us. So I
exactly.
just wanted to be the part of like it is impacting the humanity in a good way rather than harming the humanity. And that's what Claude AI has also done, because it has stopped giving answers on the basis of like questions we ask. I was recently just asking Claude AI to make some changes in my resume regarding my job and the role which I am doing, and just wanted to ask one project. It just completely backfired. It just said, "No, you are not working in this. I will not allow this." And I was like, "What is with this moral policing? You just need to add this thing. I am saying I will back it up in my interview, but it just denied. And then I have to create a fake scenario. No, I'm not. I'm working this company. I have done this project. Then only it would like add those cases in resume.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scared as well because, I was so excited with this Fable 5, right? I was waiting for that weekend and suddenly I got the message that it got blocked. It's like I even posted in LinkedIn out of my frustration. Okay, but I mean, it's a very very scary future as well. It's not, as easy as we think, because governments have an important role to play, right? And governments are nothing but people, few people. Who obviously we are electing if it's a democracy, but they have enormous power to control things, right? And the same power AI is now giving to people. So that's going to cause few issues. Obviously, there are big companies, governments, they want to retain some control. So if everyone is able to create a mind-bending product at the end of the day, if they have good idea, that's going to cause a lot of issues. So that's why you're going to see a lot of manipulation, a lot of things that's going to happen, which even I or we or anyone might not know enough. But at the end of the day, we should be striving for freedom of learning and freedom of expression. That's it. So, I mean, that's what I fundamentally believe in. That's what I got from this question as well, right? You can imagine thousand scenarios in future. And for me, most of the scenarios are very scary. I mean, yeah, no, that's what is going on internally within me.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm like the most scared of is that there could be like 1,000 people which are working for a good cause, but we just need that one person who is willing to compromise on his ethics, on like what he believes in, and that's what happened if you have watched like the Dark Knight of the Batman. So there were like all the good people in the Gotham City, but we just need that one Joker of like who would
Exactly.
actually wreck the whole system. And that's what happened. Like for US defense security, Claude has denied that we will not work, but there were other companies which were like OpenAI or Google who are ready to work for those like defense securities or those defense companies at US. So that's like there could be like one or two companies which are like not compromising on their ethics, but there are a lot of companies which are there to just make a quick buck, or they are here to like make a very impact on their AI. So yeah, very bleak future
Yeah.
in my opinion. So as we are
But we
heading
should be
towards,
optimist,
yeah,
optimistic. That's the only option we have.
yeah, yeah, we have to be optimist, because if we become negative, in my opinion, then like that's how it will change our mind and our actions also. So if you believe in positivity, you will attract positive people, you will attract positive things in your life. But if you are negative, you will just attract negative things in your life.
Exactly. Very good. I mean, really love that statement. I think that's what it is. Everything has pros and cons, positives and negatives, right? So you should be just looking at the positive side. Obviously, the negative does come up, but that's for thinking. But don't get worried by it. So you can solve it once it does come up.
Yeah, definitely. So as we are approaching to the rear end of this interview, I just want to have one very quick rapid fire round with you.
Mhm.
So you can just give one line justification of why would you choose this technology or this stack.
Yeah,
Okay, so here we
excited
begin.
for it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what would you choose? Either the open source LLM when you're fine tuning, or a very commercial API for production based application.
Uh, Most of the time, I would choose commercial application or commercial APIs.
Okay, and what would you prefer most, like an RAG, retrieval augmented generation, or a long context window models in there?
For now, it's RAG.
Uh, I know this answer, but I just want to again ask, because most of the people who are starting in their career are confused. So, what would you choose, either Python or Rust for the future of high performance AI infra?
High performance, I would choose Rust.
And if I want to ask on as an AI engineer, so what is bigger red flag in an AI interview? Someone who doesn't know the math behind the gradient descent, or someone who can't tokenize their model and don't know like how ML ops or LLM ops work.
Someone who doesn't know how the deployment or ML ops or LLM ops work. Yeah, that would be short answer.
Okay, so if you're asking a lead code style question, And what would you prefer most, like a lead code style puzzles or a system design take home assignment?
System design take home assignment.
Aren't you worried like people would cheat it from AI and they would actually just
I mean,
misuse?
I am confident on my interview skills, so I would know for sure if they have cheated, because that gives them more freedom and that gives them actual real work environment. Because it's cheating if you think about the scenario, right? But in actual job, you're also going to use AI to build your systems. So yeah, I mean, it's about perspective.
Definitely. So what would you choose, like an autonomous AI agent taking over enterprise workflow by next year? What do you think? It is a hype or a reality?
Enterprise, it's actually hype. I would feel like it's completely taking over is not gonna happen, and it's not allowed as well. So yeah.
Okay. So vector databases, like a specialized standalone DBs like Pinecone, or adding a PG vector base to a standard PostgreSQL database.
So this is a tough question. Okay, because there is no single correct answer for this. For to be honest, at initial levels, right, I would just use PG vector with Postgres, PostgreSQL with PG vector. Then, as the application scales and it grows in scope, I'll go to the other options.
Great. And what's the worst place for an AI system to fail? Edge devices or cloud servers?
It should be cloud server, because the problem is cloud server is serving a lot of people. Edge is basically serving subset or even single user, right? So it's fine if it fails there, because obviously user will give some feedback. But cloud failing in actual the base cloud, I'm considering the backend is in cloud or the main system is cloud in cloud. That's gonna cause more damage, I feel like.
Great. I loved every one of your answers, and you actually survived my hot seat. So so I just want to circle back on this vector database. So a lot of developers immediately spin up a complex DB, and second they hear the word embeddings, like they just stick with PG vector or Postgres first. So why is there your instinct to tell them like start with this Postgres first and then go into this vector DB?
So the reason is simple, right? So for example, Postgres is not, at the end of it's not a base vector database. It's actually an application database. Obviously, you're adding a plugin on top of it, right? Why? Because now you have single database to deal with at the end of the day. You're not having separate databases for application, and there is a vector database which is separate entity. That's gonna obviously double your worries, right? When something goes wrong, you need to manage both. You need to first find out which one goes wrong. So first start with Postgres and try to build as much as possible. Then obviously you have 1,000 options to do. So and also don't be, when I mean Postgres, it's not like your code will be only integrable with Postgres. Okay, you should be writing an adapter which is much more flexible. But at the end of the day, start with Postgres. Then you can obviously move to much more. There are 1,000 options in vector databases now, so you can then move to standalone vector databases. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, great. So what would you prefer, a cloud-based like a database or an on-premise like vector database, like a VV8 based, which is on-prem, or
So,
a
I mean,
Pinecone?
to be honest, I wouldn't, because the problem is this, right? Cloud-based versus on-premise, it's not like it's a thing which you choose. It's based on certain decisions, right? And certain environmental conditions. For example, if you're working in an organization, right? Firstly, I would just access cloud database because I would have something in my server. If it's already set up, there will be dev server which I can directly use. So that would be the easier option. But if you're a student who is not working for an organization or something, and cloud credits are costly, and databases in cloud are pretty problematic from the cost perspective, so then I would obviously start with my local options. And also even in enterprise options, right? If the rule is that, for example, there is a strict data residency requirement, and your cloud, whatever the standard cloud you are using, if it's not providing that, then obviously you might need to have your own on-premise equivalents, right? So it's more about the conditions which we have. The decision comes from there. Then I can just say, this or that. I mean, that would be my opinion on this.
Great. That's a very good answer, and I loved. like every one of your answer and would love to host you again on my YouTube channel. So are there any like last minute advice for me or like viewers who are watching this channel?
Firstly, really, really thanks for inviting me, Bhavai. Obviously, you gave one interview, which is a data science interview in our channel, and I loved interacting with you on that interview. And this has been much, much better than that for me because it's a back and forth conversation. I wanted to, whatever I wanted to express, I got the chance to express. So hopefully, you and your viewers have got something from it. So feel free to roast me if you find something wrong in the comments because I do love comments which are constructive. That's what I say, right? Any criticism which is constructive is awesome. So feel free to do that. And secondly, all the best for you, Bhavai, because I see a lot of potential in you and you have a lot of knowledge. And I think users will get really some benefits from your knowledge that you have. And from the audience perspective, right? Same thing. Audience plus first thing is just be that honest guy who is preparing or learning AI. Okay. Do it for the purpose that you have some core purpose and you're doing it because you want to do it. Don't do it because there is nothing else in your life. You are just doing because you want to get job and your parents are pressurizing you. You yourself are pressurizing you. Don't do it for it because at the end of the day, this entire experience for you would be grueling, boring stuff, right? You're sitting every day learning RAG, learning this and doing interviews. Again, you're suffering through interviews. Don't do it. I mean, if you don't love it, just don't come into field because everyone is so scared and there is this marketing hype, right? Everyone needs to come into AI, otherwise your jobs are gone. That is fundamentally false. Even in China, right? China has started redesigning their curriculums now to make sure that you are going into fields which are very tough to be affected by AI, especially fields which actually move the atoms, right? In Elon Musk's physiology, I would say. So do those things. I mean, if you love something else, if you love arts, do that. If you love something sports, right? They have bright future. At the end of the day, nobody wants to see robots playing, right? They can play. People want to see for once. At the end, they don't want to cheer for them, right? You want to have that human element. You want, even though you can sing a song or robot can sing a song or create a new song, you want that empathy or human element in it, right? So there are a lot of scope. Choose whatever you are good at the end of the day and try to pursue that. Don't come into age just because it's the most hottest thing that's happening, but you are not interested. Yeah. So that's what my opinion would be.
Great. It was probably great answer. And yeah, it was lovely hosting you. And I would probably say like many more to come to our journey. And yeah, I
Yeah.
will drop all your links of your YouTube channel, of your LinkedIn. And yes, please check out Karthik's YouTube channel. It's great. And I have been learning from your YouTube channel a lot recently.
Thanks, boy. Thanks for your time and thanks for hosting me as well. Bye bye.
Thank you, Karthik. Bye.